content, I never suffered with that person. But if you happen to or took a decision, I told you no, the longest distance to travel is from here head to the heart, right? This is the longest distance to travel. And why it is the longest distance to travel? Not emotional. Emotional is only one dimension of it, one part of that complete dimension. Then is it good to go for virtue or knowledge in that case? Virtue, all of you. Probably Nagaraju will also understand this with time passing. See, you are a boss. See, he is right from one perspective of his this thing. He is the boss of an organization. He is in the hunt for a person who is knowledgeable to perform a particular function, right? But you will have to understand that if that person can be influenced by somebody else to do something wrong, and in the absence of virtue as a core quality of that person, there is a high probability that he will definitely do what the other person is wanting him to do, whether it is against money or something else. So that is where when you go to top positions in whatever companies you go, knowledge is important, there is no doubt about it, but people go for virtuous people. You see, that is what you see when you rise in the hierarchy of bureaucracy or wherever you end up going as per your destiny. The people sitting on the top, you will see they do not have knowledge. You will always compare yourself with them, and you see in front of them their knowledge is actually nothing. But one thing that they have which is not probably in you at that particular age and service is, he has that virtue of discerning who is right, who is wrong, what is right, what is wrong. So in decision making, though knowledge is also important, but virtue plays a very important role. So that is what this statement says. It was UPSC question, no, this year I think. I picked up from there. It says the life of APJ Abdul Kalam presents a broad range of lessons and virtues to be learnt by public servants in India. To be learnt by public servants in India. So he is saying the public servant should look at a person and try to learn some qualities from him. If I say the most knowledgeable person of the modern times in our country, yes or no? APJ Abdul Kalam, when it comes to science, he is known to be that living encyclopedia of science, right? But he is still not asking you learn the knowledge. What is he asking you? Learn from his lessons and virtues. That is what it is important. It means there is also an indication that the bureaucracy is lacking this dimension. Yes or no? Knowledgeable. Your NTRO, National Technical Research Organization, 2004, it is the brainchild of Abdul Kalam, how he has designed. It is known to be one of the most successful technical research organization in the world today. It is doing that job. Your NIA's success is attributed to NTRO, what they are doing. So that guy designed everything for you. Your space, technology, what you are boasting of as one of your hard power, not soft power, one of your hard powers, it is his giving, probably his predecessors giving, right? So these people, though are very knowledgeable, whenever they preached, they always preached virtue and not knowledge. So try to understand the difference between the two, and in life what you should work upon more as an individual. Knowledge will come, एक रात में बैठ के किताब लेके पढ़ोगे सुबह तक knowledge आ जाएगा. But if I ask you a question out of which is virtue based question, if you do not have that line of thought of thinking, you will not be able to answer. And UPSC pura your question paper, all GS 1, 2, 3, 4 in front of you, how many questions are knowledge based and how many questions are understanding based, you ask a question to yourself. That is the reason why the art of understanding a topic from its holistic perspective is important in UPSC. This is not college. Please take out that college from your mind. If you continue with that college mindset, you will not pass UPSC in next 10 years also. So college को हटाओ, seriousness थोड़ा लेकर आओ, ठीक है? So this one class on I had promised that I will take for all of you is on the directives. Before in fact taking this class, I wanted to show you the paper. Why I wanted to show you any. I want to show you something. Just see. Just keep a count. Okay. Count of the words, comment and discuss. Just keep a count of the words, comments and discuss. First is examine. You keep a count of examine. No word means, no indicative word means comment. Very good. So one comment, Lavanya, you keep a point. Fourth is elaborate. Pawan, you count. No means comment. Second. Each year lot amount of, again no means comment. Very important. Rashmi, count. Discuss one, explain second. Explain second. पहले भी से explain आया था. Two explains. Second discuss Rashmi. Third discuss, right? Third explain. Very important. Suggest. T Lavanya, right? T Lavanya. Justify and explain. I told you many a times two combination of words. First statement is justify. Uday, justify. No means comment. Fourth comment. Fifth comment. Sixth comment. Seventh comment. Discuss. Third or fourth? Fourth discuss. Again explain. Fifth explain. Comment. Examine is there. Shweta. Acha, examine 2. Okay. Now tell me how many discusses, how many comments? 7 comments. 2 examine, 4 explain. 5 discuss. 7 plus 5? 12. So comment and 12 both combined, how many questions out of 20? 12. Percentage? 60%? तो 60% क्वेश्चंस का सिर्फ 2 ही वर्ड है. व्हाट इज दैट वर्ड? नाउ यू आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग द इम्पोर्टेंस. ये there are around 24 directives in UPSC. Like directive means indicative words that are generally used by UPSC. Over a period of time, the importance given to 2 words, discuss and comment, has increased by many folds. Though in this GS paper 3 we saw 60%, it has been observed these 2 words only will have more than 70% weightage in UPSC. So today we will try to see 7 to 8 words of what you call descriptive words and how you are supposed to make a answer out of these when these words are asked. This is the essence of today's lecture. Okay? The most important we will cover today, which are, it's not that they are least important, they need certain more depth understanding that we will gradually cover for you, all of you. Okay? The first word, as we said, the most commonly used word is comment, right? First try to understand that. I think I have spoken about this before also. See, every question may not have a directive or the keyword. I told you, if does not have, understand that it is basically from the perspective of the word comment. When we will see how to write a comment answer. Second, it is not necessary for the keyword to be only at the end of the question, it can be in the starting or in the middle, we have seen that also. At places it is in the starting, at places in the middle, at places in the combination of starting and middle and end also. Okay? Then combination of two keywords, yes, what is the essence of the keyword in a question, we will try to understand. What if I do not address the demand of the question as per the keyword? What will happen if I do not address the demand of the question as per the keyword and just write whatever I know? This was generally done by Asif. Remember, what I asked, he did not write that. He wrote a beautiful answer, but he did not write what I asked. Now, as an examiner, should I give him marks or not? He wrote a beautiful answer, but he did not write what I asked. I should give him marks or not? आप लोग बताओ. हाँ उदय? No, he said he should not be given marks. Then when you know the importance of keyword, why we then miss the essence of that keyword in the answer? Because at your stage of your preparation, maybe you do not know. That is the reason why you are writing whatever you are knowing about a particular topic and not what has been asked to you. One of the questions for the PCM batch, I changed in the last moment yesterday late night, because I felt for your understanding, writing of that particular answer is difficult. So I had to forcefully, though I wanted to keep it, but I finally said no, let us remove that question. So that is why, because I felt you are not at that stage that you can write that particular answer. Okay? Chalo, we will start with the first word, that is comment. Okay? This is for our comment. Now, you need to give your opinion. I keep breaking my head, right? You need to give your opinion reinforcing your point of view on a particular issue. Now, the question is, right of movement and residence throughout the territory of India are freely available to Indian citizens, but these are not absolute. These are not absolute. The right of movement, moving from place A to place B, you have a right to move. Today, whenever your family plans to go for a Tirupati trip, what you will do? First thing is the darshan tickets availability or not. Second is the journey availability or not. Do you write a letter to the government, can I go or not? No. It means you are exercising this particular right, yes or no? But is that right absolute? No. No, for example, we know that these rights are not absolute and they are under certain terms and conditions, or they are subject to certain limitations or restrictions that can be imposed by the government. The government can impose a restriction here, the government can impose a restriction here, the government can impose a restriction on the journey part also. Anywhere the government can impose it. Now, when the word is ending with comment, what did I tell you? You need to give your opinion reinforcing your viewpoint. Now, you know the template of introduction, last time we discussed. There are so many: fact based introduction, explanation based introduction, historical perspective based introduction, irony based introduction, what you call code based introduction, all this we studied. What introduction you will write for this question that is ending with comment, when you know that you have to give your opinion reinforcing your point of view. Shiva, polity. So you mean to say the fact based, which is inclined towards polity. He says, I will start my introduction, polity based introduction, with references to article, the freedom of movement and all those things. This would be my introduction. Anybody else? Are you giving your opinion anywhere here? Can I make a combination of this and my opinion? Acceptable? If you make a combination of this dimension along with your opinion, now tell me. So she is trying to talk about current event based introduction. She feels that this article's genesis, the question's genesis came from an incident where in the northeast a particular incident happened and the government restricted the movement of the individuals. Yes or no? In fact, entire COVID also we had these movement restrictions, no? So the government invoked certain clauses, the central government invoked one clause, the state governments invoked the other clauses, right? The central government invoked the Disaster Management Act, National Disaster Management Act, and the state government essential services उस clause को act को invoke करके they put these restrictions. Now what opinion based question you will give? Make a statement. Introduction देना है. Simple question. Right of movement and residence. And residence. Very very important. Come on. Right of movement and residence. Why do people move in the first place? First is, why do people move? The first reason why they move is this is economic reasons, job and education both. Third is marital, marriage and all. This is social. Any other reasons? Disaster, okay. So it is a calamity, okay. War, okay. Development, matlab you mean to say displacement? Are you talking with that perspective that people are forced to leave one place? Okay, so she says that as a result of displacement also people are forced to leave a particular place. Fine. Now these are some of the reasons that you know that right to movement happens, and somewhere correlated is the right of residence also. Right of residence is also correlated. So if that right of residence is superimposed, now can you give me an introduction? Right of residence means you can buy a place, stay there. Earlier J&K there was no right of residence, no? You could not buy a property or piece of land, and outsider it was not allowed. 35A, which was abrogated by by the government 2019, 5th August 2019, right? So 35A prohibited anybody who is not a J&K citizen, belonging to that particular state, he was not authorized to buy. So now that the government has revoked that, that is how you see Reliance putting so much of investments in what you call J&K. There's so much of tourism related what you call buying and selling of real estate properties is happening. So it has now removed that restriction that has happened. So that is also a restriction. It is not absolute, because the state felt that because the promise was given at the time of independence, they will continue. Now I want you to give your opinion and point of view after having known all these dimensions. In your introduction, 1 line or 2 lines. Come on, talk. Write and tell, write and dictate to me. I am sure nobody did this. You are not thinking before writing, that's the problem. And the irony is I am forcing you to think. Did anybody, when you are writing an answer, are you thinking on these lines before starting to write the answer? फिर answer कैसा आएगा? I am telling you, writing 250 words is very difficult. 3 pages consistently maintaining the demand, the language, the structure, the content is difficult till such time you do not do the brainstorming. अब बताओ, how will you write what you will write? Introduction. एक irony based introduction दो. Irony based introduction दो. Beautiful irony will come. And what are those restrictions? उसमें दिया है, restrictions भी दिया है. जो तुम fundamental rights की बात कर रहे हो, there is a list of events when your movement can be restricted. Array internal security disturbances, that is the first point. No polity, लक्ष्मीकांत को चाट गए हो अभी तक. हाँ, one is disturbances, the second is national interest. Okay, okay. Relations with a foreign country, that dimension is also given there. So it means the government intrinsically have a right to stop. I am asking to give your opinion, you are not giving the opinion. You अभी भी fact में अटके हुए हो. हाँ? See, can I say, if I have to start an irony based introduction, can I say during COVID, when the government invoked all the clauses of moving the restrictions, it was evidently visible that the nature or the animals in the nature enjoyed the right to freedom of movement and residence more than what we did, despite having got that as a right as a matter of the constitution. Can you write that? Opinion. It means that you are only reinstating the right of animals also having the right of freedom of movement and residence. Who is stopping you? Give me one quote based answer, introduction to this. Comment. Comment is the easiest answer to write, because he is only asking for your, you can use logic and reference to any relevant evidence. The kind of birds that we witnessed in what you call in our neighborhood during COVID, we did not witness them before, right? Yes or no? From Punjab, Himalayas was visible. From Punjab, Himalayas was visible. When I climbed the terrace of my building, I could see Charminar, which is 10-12 kilometers away, distinctly clear. What does it mean? We have created so much of nonsense. So try to understand, you have to give your opinion whenever there is a comment. The easiest answer to write, discuss is difficult to write. Let me tell you, when you come to that, you will understand. One is giving your opinion, your point of view. You can use logic and the reference of any evidence that you have come across, either bookish evidence or your own personal life experience evidence, you write. He is asking you to write that only. See, this question is from polity perspective, understood. I want you to write the polity dimension. I am not saying please don't write polity dimension. I want you to write, but try to give your opinion perspective also. And when he will add the word critical, then what example I gave you, birds were free to fly, but human beings were chained everywhere. Yes or no? So that is how the dimensions you need to bring, the criticality of the situation. In the first place, why do you think this right of residence was restricted in J&K, or the right to movement was restricted in J&K? Yeah, in a disturbed area your movements are restricted. When a particular area is declared as a disturbed area, the government can impose temporary restrictions on the freedom of movement. This is to ensure safety. Basic dimension of your freedom. When I am using the word critical, try to bring in a critical appraisal of a situation, again using your. So in the entire answer, your opinion is the most important dimension when the word is ending with comment. So it means out of 20 questions, 7 questions is only asking your opinion. Okay? Try to understand that particular dimension. It says it is basically become Arnav Goswami. It is basically fault finding when it is. Now इसमें fault find करो. If I write critically comment, try to find a fault. It is ironical that even after 75 years of independence, the right to movement and residence can be restricted, invoking certain clauses of the constitution. Are we really independent even today? Do you need logic? It's only expression what you feel what is your opinion. And it is so what you call this thing that even today the 7 sisters in the northeast are still under ASPA. The entire state of J&K, now the union territories of Jammu and Kashmir are still under the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, restricting the movement and the residence of individuals, thereby exposing them to vagaries of economies. That is what you try to explain. So this is when you try to critically bring in. That's what you, the moment it is critical, remember this guy Arnav Goswami, अगर मोदी ने ऐसे खुजा दिया तो वो 3 घंटे बात करेगा. Why he did? So he is critical about something, right? Now it says in UPSC perspective, a minimum of 60% of the answer should focus on the negative things, remaining can focus on the outcomes and positives if any, if the word is ending with critically comment. 60% of the weightage you have to give to the critical dimension of it. Remember, always go by the essence of the question, what is the tone of the question, and here the essence of the question is trying to talk about okay. So even though you are a citizen of this country, your movement can be restricted by the government if the need so arises. Whether that need can be anything, that need can be anything. Okay? Try to understand. So that is how when you are, and what is the second question example I gave? While the national political parties in India favor centralization, the regional parties are in favor of state autonomy. Straight question on federalism. But लक्ष्मीकांत में ऐसा कहीं भी लिखा है क्या? People who have read 20 times लक्ष्मीकांत, पूरे किताब में did this dimension of federalism, did it appear? So is there any use writing that book beyond a particular point? No. But important to understand the federalism from holistic perspective. What is the essence? While the national political parties are those political parties which are present in more than one state, whose presence is established in more than one state, in a very layman language. Okay? While the regional parties are in favor of state autonomy, regional parties are those parties which are prominently visible in one state or at max in the neighborhood state, right? So these are the parties. Then he is saying they are in favor of centralization and they are in favor of state autonomy. Bolo, comment. When it is comment, what did I say? The first thing that I am asking you to do is up bolo. If you take the stand of centralization, say central party, give your views. If you stand for the state, give your views. If you say, for example, stand for the central parties, central political parties, now you tell what are the various stands that you will use to ensure that I want centralization. Purposes: 1, very good, policy making. One important thing, सेंट्रलाइजेशन को अगर स्टेट दे रहा है, या ब्यूरोक्रेसी इज पार्ट ऑफ सेंट्रलाइजेशन. हेलो, यू आर ऑल दी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट प्लेयर्स, दो एम्प्लॉयड इन स्टेट, बट तुम उसके ही कुंती पुत्र हो. ठीक है, ट्राई टू नेवर फॉरगेट दैट डायमेंशन. ठीक है, दो यू आर एम्प्लॉयड इन द स्टेट, the Supreme Court, the Constitution also says no, bureaucracy is part of central, right? Yeah, I hope don't forget that. Now, first and foremost, centralization on what grounds the central government can ask for? कौन बोला? That has to be the first point. That has to be the first point. National integration. You take a balanced stand in your opinion. You say wherever national integration is affected, we have to always choose for centralization. Wherever it is last mile connectivity or bringing out a positive change in the people standing in the last line of state control, it always has to be state economy, give this as your introduction, an excellent introduction, you will get full marks. So bifurcate, don't go for complete centralization, don't go for complete state autonomy. If you go for complete state autonomy, what it will lead to? One is regionalism, very very important. One is regionalism. What is the second problem? Okay, chalo, separatism. But what is the biggest problem? Think from governance point of view. Governance point of view, inequality. It will lead to lot of, say for example, Telangana has gone for this, and next is what? Odisha, bagal mein hai na. If he grows adopting this, he has adopted centralization and he is not growing, what will happen? He will get influenced. So it has devastating effect on your governance structure. So that one of the most important, the inequalities in the society would be visible and people will start reacting based on the inequalities in the society. That dimension you bring in. So try to understand your preparation for UPSC is beyond your notebook, beyond your textbook, beyond your class notes. Because the question will always come at a higher level of your understanding of that particular issue. It will not come straight away from the question paper, the textbook or the class notes. So try to understand when we are talking about the comment or the critical comment, one thing that is very very important is your opinion and your point of view. ये दोनों जरूर जरूर आना है, ठीक है? This is one that comment that we have covered today. Second, can we? Yes, that's what I gave an example, no? See, what he said, even if it is critically comment, he said, even if it is critically comment, 60% should focus on negative, means 40% on positive. You have to take both sides, okay? Because that he is, see, if it is not critically comment, he is leaving it to you. See, any question, any topic will have positive and negative side. Right to movement, only comment. Positive side is giving the right to movement. Negative side is not giving the right to movement. Now it is your view, your point of view, your opinion, what stand you want to take in your answer. And it is always suggested to take the progressive path. When you have to support a statement where positive is also there, negative is also there, because you are planning to be part of the progressive society, you always try to take the progressive path. But if you personally feel that no, in this particular scenario, I will take the negative side, you talk about this, why it is important, who is stopping you? Getting my point? But in that case also, positiveness and negativeness both should come. Both should come. Yes or no? You give an example, you are staying in Hyderabad, Gachibowli jao, it is 60% North Indians. Yes or no? 60% North Indians are there because of the IT culture. And IT का job किधर है? हैदराबाद में, बैंगलोर में, चेन्नई में, दिल्ली में. Fifth place, hardly any. Pune maybe to some extent. That's all. There is no sixth or seventh place, right? So that will, it is only feasible because of, right? Did any one of them contact KCR office? Sir, can I come? Is there a need? No, because the constitution has guaranteed you that. So you talk, you bring in the dimension of urbanization. Who is stopping you? You bring in the dimension of urbanization. This is possible because your constitution is allowing it. Otherwise तुम्हारे गांव से बाहर जाने से पहले सरपंच से परमिशन लेना पड़ता आपको, एंड जहां जा रहे हो उस गांव के सरपंच से परमिशन लेना पड़ता. So you bring these dimensions. The change in the societal landscape as part of urbanization is possible today because provisions to that effect are mentioned in the constitution, article so and so, so and so. But this freedom of movement and residence is not absolute. They can be restricted based on these conditions. Your answer is half complete. Getting it? So try to open up the discussions in that particular perspective. Okay? Yeah. Anybody else? While the national political parties in India favor centralization, the regional parties are in the favor of state autonomy. See, when you see the central list and the state list, you will agree with me when you see the central list and the state list. In state list, those subjects you will find more where there is a direct connect with the people, whether it is law and order, whether it is health, whether it is to certain extent education, they are all people centric. It means why it is, because the state machinery or the state leaders are part of that. So their understanding, see, if tomorrow Prime Minister Modi becomes the Chief Minister of Telangana, he may not understand the connect what is Batkama. He will not be able to bring in certain dimensional change in the society that are trying to give that platform of social acceptance. So that is where you need leaders like that. So when you see this state list, you will see when you go to the central list, what are there basically? Just see the content. See, somebody applied their brain and gave only, right? ऐसा तो नहीं है कि अष्टा चम्मा खेला, अष्टा है तो ये उधर, चम्मा है तो ये उधर, ऐसा तो नहीं हुआ ना. Somebody apply, and the highest intellect people applied their brain in this what you call monkey distribution, no? So do you think it is sense? What if it goes here? Somebody attacking J&K, वो मोदी को कॉल कर रहा है, मोदी बोला मैं नहीं जानता, तू देख ले जो कर. What will happen? The national integration is negatively affected. So that is why the listing has been, it is not arbitrary distribution. It is a conscious decision that has been taken by the constitutional makers of our country, and over a period of time this has got what you call amended. Some additions, some alterations, all these things have happened to align it with the contemporary society. You bring this. अरे इस टॉपिक, इस क्वेश्चन के ऊपर ऐसे लिखा जा सकता है, वो तो बेचारा 150 वर्ड्स का ही क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है, 250 वर्ड्स, 3 pages, beautiful answer can be written here. But provided you start thinking, provided you bring in the dimension of, if I have to write only fact based answer, एक पेज में खत्म हो जाएगा, हार्डली एक पेज भी नहीं आएगा मैटर. What has to come out? Your opinion and your point of view. ठीक है? Yeah. Anyone else? Nobody else? Good. Now you got what introduction should be written, Shiva? Discuss. The directive is discuss. You need to cover, see, very, very important. You need to cover, very, very important word, all aspects of the debate or the concerned topic. That is the reason why it is said a question with discuss is the most difficult question to answer. Why? Because you should have the knowledge of all the dimensions. Yes or no? You should have the, that is why discuss related questions are very difficult to write. How many? 5 discusses were there? कितने थे? 5 discuss was there. So out of 20, 5 means straight away 25% of the questions are difficult questions to write. And you will see discuss questions will generally, not always, will generally 250 marks, 250 words. Why 250 words? Because you have to give all various dimensions. That is comment का 150, mostly 150. Critically comment करेगा बढ़ा देगा, ठीक है? Critically comment करेगा बढ़ा देगा, ठीक है? Now what he is saying, use evidence to make a case for or against a researched topic. You will have to use evidence. It means he is asking you to write justified style of answer writing, evidence based. Either it is a factual evidence based, whether it is an incident evidence based, but you have to use the evidence in discuss. Remember to give your position, it means again okay, your opinion. Out of 12 questions, your opinion finally came. It is only that discuss, can I say it is a wider expression of comment. It is a wider expression of comment. Okay. He says besides the welfare schemes, India needs deft management of inflation and unemployment to serve the poor and the underprivileged sections of the society. Discuss. I told you inflation, it affects the poor the most. For you the Colgate toothpaste from 25 to 35, it may not affect you, but from 25 to 26 also it may affect the poor, but it may not affect you because you are probably rich. But even if you are middle class, you are considerably rich when compared to a poor guy. That is why he is giving the importance to inflation. We know World Bank said who is poor, who is living less than $1.90 per day. For example, World Bank classification of poverty, right? Now, for example, an individual is, this is the line of poverty, this is $1.90 line, okay? Somebody is living on $2.0, means just 10 cents above the poverty line, yes or no? If inflation happens, inflation is what? Increase in the prices of the goods and services over a period of time, yes or no? Because he was 2.0 and not 1.90, he was above the poverty line. Inflation happened, he will automatically come down. So just because the price of a one commodity on which he or she is dependent, it increased, he suddenly came down because he does not have that money to spend. So can I say artificially this line went here? Yes or no? This imaginary line, because of the cost of living, this went up and this guy remained here. Probably though he is saying like that, but the real cost of living is 2.1, but I am having only, is your employer increasing your pay because inflation increased? It happens only in the government. The DA, the dearness allowance is linked to your CPI if you are in a white collar, WPI if you are in the labor, this thing. So that is how you try to understand every decision by the government is dependent on this particular dimension of inflation. That is the reason why inflation is very important. We generally say, why the government breaks its head? This is the reason why the government breaks its head. And that is why he is saying, if the government, besides the welfare schemes, the word is besides welfare scheme, if the dimension is all, you will have to write the importance of the welfare schemes also. You will have to write the importance of deft management of inflation also. You will have to write the importance of ensuring that more and more people are employed also. So he has opened 3 dimensions for you, for poor and underprivileged. So 3 dimensions you have to open. You give a 4th dimension, the corporate social responsibilities. You give a 5th dimension because this is in news, freebies. You give a 6th dimension, wasteful expenditure. For example, Telangana Formation Day, the government spent 3 crores on Atishbazi, for example. Was it required? Then you bring that dimension because it is all aspects of the debate concerning the topic. But for this you need to have, that is why I said it is very difficult to write, is you need to have a thorough knowledge of that particular topic. If you do not have, and that is the reason why if you see for questions like geography, science and technology, they will not use discuss much. they will use the word give examples. They will say, ठीक है, because their discuss related writing needs research understanding of those topics. So that is why it is not the requirement in GS UPSC. But when it goes to optional, you will find discuss same question. So वहाँ पे फिर if you do not have the depth understanding, you will not be able to write. ठीक है? So that is where it is very important, and also very important, remember to give your position. This should come in the answer. Whether you want to give it in the main body or in the conclusion, it is your choice, but your position should come. Whether you take a balanced position or you take an inclined position towards any of these. Okay? So that your position should very clearly come in your answer. Now in this, what introduction you will give? Besides the welfare schemes, India needs deft management of inflation. क्या दोगे बताओ? हाँ, what introduction you will give? अरे why this so much of silence here? कौन देगा introduction? Who will give the introduction? Besides welfare scheme, India needs deft management of inflation and unemployment to serve the poor and underprivileged. Acha, what kind of introduction you want to write? Which kind of introduction you would like to write for this kind of answer? War.
Because of the commodity differences, we are getting affected.
Okay, so you want to write about the IR related. Okay, anybody else?
Report based.
Hmm?
Report based.
Import based.
Report based.
Report based. Okay, very good. So report based is basically fact based to some extent. Okay, can you give an example?
When the income increases, the
When the income increases.
inequality is also increasing.
Okay.
When a small section of people, their income is increases.
Okay.
At the same time, the
Okay.
inequality in the people.
Okay. Recent report. Recent report, the increase in the number of billionaires in our country.
And at the same time, inequality is also increasing.
Okay, done. Huh. PLFS report. Okay. PLFS report. Anybody else? Huh? Huh? What based? What sense? Consequence based. Okay. Huh. Good. Huh. Consequence based.
What would happen if inflation is not properly managed in our country?
Okay. So he would like to take one dimension, that is consequence of failure. That's what? Excellent way to start an answer. It is closer to irony based. Consequence based is closer to irony based. Sandhya, can you frame a statement for introduction, irony based, for this topic? I gave you example, no? World Bank example. Try to use that dimension. Nagarjuna, help her. Introduction. How many? You need facts support here. You need facts support here. How many people in India are still below the poverty line? This information you need. Yes, this information you need. How many people are still below the poverty line? In what you call, in one of the reports in World Bank recently, World Bank said if the world wants to rise above the poverty line, two countries, one is India and entire African continent, are the major players. If these two people fail in controlling people falling below the poverty line, the world will fail. Can I? Did I not use a report and a consequence together to make an introductory statement? So it will give an opinion to the evaluator. This guy not only has the report, he also has the knowledge of consequence. If it fails, what impact it will have at international level? Are yes or no? With me or not? So you have to learn this art of thinking on a broad canvas from day one. Though it is a what you call GS paper 3 based question. What I have brought? GS paper 2 dimension also I brought. That is called vertical answer writing in UPSC. That is where you will have to bring in multiple concepts together when you write an answer. In conclusion, what you will write? Anybody? Main body to khair you will write whatever you wish to write. Main body mein, in the main body to this question, 3 dimensions: welfare schemes, deft management of inflation and unemployment. These 3, no, right? And is asking you to discuss. He is asking you to discuss. Very important. When you talk about the welfare schemes, both by the central government and by the state government, you bring this dimension. You bring the dimensions of areas where the work is happening, both socio cultural and economic dimensions, all dimensions you bring. Here fact will support you like anything. Why? Because the moment you talk about welfare schemes, it is loaded with facts. The moment welfare schemes matlab write anything, starting from women, what you call centric issues, starting from child centric issues, starting from health centric issues, starting from socio cultural issues, anything. So that is when you will bring in the dimensions of all these parameters into the main body of your answer. Then you open up the channel, what you call the deft management. Deft is very accurate management of inflation. You bring in the dimensions. Who is stopping you? Okay. You give in the consequences, what steps the government along with this guy has taken, what is the effect, what is the recent step in this regard, what is the effect, and if at all they are failing, what are the causes of failure. Am I not touching? Am I not touching? Try to understand from that perspective. Unemployment, too many things. This dimension, this dimension, this dimension, the reports dimension, the dimension of automation leading to reduction in jobs. Bring in that dimension. 3 pages is not sufficient to write this answer. आई बात समझ में? You will have to do this brainstorming for each and every question in your head before you write these answers. And for doing this brainstorming, you will not get more than 1.5 to 2 minutes. वो भी मैं बहुत ज़्यादा बोल रहा हूँ. If I give you 2 minutes for each question, 20 questions, 40 minutes gone, no? You will have to write the entire 20 answers in 2 hours, 20 minutes. Very difficult, believe me, very difficult to write. So this has to come naturally to you. It has to come naturally. It will come with practice. Conclusion में क्या लिखोगे? बताओ. Conclusion में क्या लिखोगे? For this question, what will you write the conclusion? 3 dimensions you have seen. What will you write in conclusion? Try to, can I bring in this dimension also in conclusion? Can I bring the dimension of efficient utilization of resources, because it is GS paper 3 related question. Efficient utilization of resources. Yeah, no. Why? Because he is calling deft management of inflation and unemployment. Unemployment management responsibility किसका है? The government, right? For the unskilled and the semi-skilled. For unskilled majorly मनरेगा. For semi-skilled, what is there? That's where the fact importance will come into play, right? Conclusion में क्या लिखोगे? For this answer, what is the primary role of any government in a society? welfare, this is primarily intended toward making more egalitarian society. Obviously, that's the logic of welfare. The entire taxation policy is on this dimension only, that I am taxing the rich, I am giving it to the poor. So, this dimension you bring in your conclusion, that the main purpose of any government is to ensure the welfare of all its citizens. And if that is so, how I will bring in more equality? You give an irony based conclusion, you talk about the same report what he spoke, that the same country where so many people even during the COVID times have earned more than $1 billion per annum, the numbers are increasing. At the same time, it is so ironical that still so many million people are still below the poverty line. It means the gap between the haves and the have-nots is only widening. Is our state failing to ensure an equality or egalitarian society? Question mark लिख के छोड़ दो. Let him break his head. I am telling you, he will love to give you marks, but you will have to impress him with your what you call information and the knowledge which is multi-dimensional in its orientation. That you need to achieve. Okay? Next. 2 we have covered, comment and discuss. Comment is your opinion, your point of view, and discuss is all dimensions along with is supported with use what? Use evidence to make a case or for or against. Evidence based only. You will not talk opinion based. Comment is opinion based. Discuss is evidence based. Critically discuss नहीं पूछता है, वो मर जाएगा बच्चा. ठीक है, critically discuss लिखने. ठीक है, he will not ask. Don't worry, हमारी UPSC के साथ बात हो गई है. Come again. Your opinion whether the government should what you call strive more for welfare or give employment and let the the avenues from the employment take care of the welfare. You give that opinion based. Your opinion. Okay? I feel the government should spend more on welfare, but she may feel the government should work more on unemployment. Automatically his income will take care of his welfare. So you take your own viewpoint, because their viewpoint is important. Here evidence is important. Okay? Now another word which is again very prominently used is analyze. Very, very important word, analyze. Now what is the difference between comment and discuss? One is evidence. The most important point is evidence, and discuss is more holistic. You have to take care for or against based on an evidence, but comment is what? Purely my viewpoint. What it could be my own experience based or anything. He is asking about your opinion or a viewpoint. Okay? Now analyze. It is asking you to break the topic into fundamental parts. It is basically through deconstruction of a subject. You have to break the topic into fundamental parts so that it expects a thorough deconstruction of the subject. I will explain what is the meaning of deconstruction. See, use important debates and evidences to look into the depth of the argument for and against. He is saying you to look at both debates and evidences. Now, is India really a secular country? Analyze, for example. Now, here I have to break this word into the fundamental core parts. Yes or no? So, if I have to break this word fundamentally into the core parts, that is how I need to have a thorough understanding what all secularism means. I have to have a thorough understanding what is the constitutional position on secularism in India. Yes or no? And based on top of it, your own opinion. Right? And I can use debates and evidences. In debate, if you have access to information of a debate by an eminent personality, use his name or his book or his debate reference. Who is stopping you? Again, based on that, you will take a stand for or against in analyzing. What is the question? It says the right of children to free and compulsory education Act 2009 remains inadequate, very important, remains inadequate in promoting an incentive based system for children's education. Whose incentive? Parents' incentive. Incentive based education system for children's education without generating awareness about the importance of schooling. If your approach to schooling is based on incentive to the children by giving him morning breakfast and afternoon food without making adequately importance on the value of education in his life or her life, it is inadequate. You cannot tell a parent, you send him will giving breakfast and lunch only. You will have to bring in the importance, generate awareness about the importance of schooling. You generally see the poor people are socio-culturally also marginalized, economically poor and at the same time socio-culturally also marginalized. So for example, if one student rises from that platform and becomes an IAS officer, example, just an example, will he or his family continue to remain marginalized? No. What brought that? What brought that? Did money bring that? In our society, no matter how rich you are, no matter how rich you are, if you belong to a socio-culturally marginalized society, you still will not get that place in the society. Yes or no? Because the caste or the Varna system is deep rooted. But can you show that here? At very higher level, it is present there also. It is present there also. You see the Indian cricket team, a classic example. So these things are much more deep rooted than you and I think. These are much more deep rooted. Try to understand our society. See today, if I remove the dimension of caste or religion, people will not know what to vote for and why to vote for a person. लॉजिक लॉजिक इसको वोट क्यों देना, ये तो गधा है. Because you only stood for him or voted for him because he belonged to your same bloodline. That's all. The moment that bloodline connect is removed, then you will be surprised to know, you will ask questions to yourself, अरे इसको वोट किस लिए देना है? You getting my point? So that is how you need to understand that the importance of schooling is what? What is the importance of schooling? Educating so that he does not grow up to become another person who will ensure marginalization in the society. That's the dimension. You have to go to that level because he is asking you to analyze, and I told you, you have to break it into fundamental parts. If now I have to break a child's education in fundamental parts, now tell me. हाँ, एनालाइज करो. यू ओनली सेड नो deconstruction करना है टॉपिक का. दैट्स व्हाट यू सेड, deconstruction. नाउ इफ यू हैव टू एनालाइज दिस, breaking it into fundamental parts, break it. I want you to break it. What is the essence? Education itself is value, no? Huh?
Means to embed the values of tolerance and everything to within the society.
Okay, so he is trying to talk from the perspective of removing that sense of difference. See, this is the reason why you have uniform in school, no? The essence of uniform is to remove that you are a higher caste, you are a lower caste, all these things. Everybody is duty bound to wear a uniform. The word itself is everybody is same, uniform, right? So that is the reason why the culture of uniform has come into schools. If you see the schools which are only meant for the elite, there is no uniform culture. I hope you are aware. The schools which are only meant for the elite, there is no uniform culture there. There is no culture of examination, because they will teach the child from day one that you know everything. That's the logic. Okay, so that is where you are trying to address one dimension, that is removing the sense of difference in the society based on socio-cultural dimensions. What else? Fundamental part, see, child's education has various fundamental parts. Importance in getting him a job tomorrow that will ensure his प्लस अरे एक IAS ऑफिसर को अच्छा रिश्ता मिलेगा, राइट? अगर अच्छा नहीं मिला तो पैसा तो अच्छा मिलेगा, कम से कम 10-20 करोड़ तो कहीं नहीं जाएगा. क्यों पवन? If you become an IAS officer, 20 crores in dowry is fixed. He will not go anywhere. अच्छा, he is not okay with 20 crore. He is saying I need more. ये दिल मांगे more. हाँ? हाँ, नहीं देगा. I mean नहीं लेगा. You will not take. Honest बच्चा है ना? हाँ. What else? Important dimensions. Come on. What is one more important dimension of education? Huh?
Intellectuals, it provides intellectuals.
Very good. See, as a child, I always used to feel fasting is a bad idea. And when you add that religious dimension to the fasting, I always felt that it is a bad idea. Whenever my mother used to do it, I used to ridicule her. Even today, though she doesn't do it much now, but I used to ridicule it, not understanding the scientific evidence beyond it. When I started growing up, when I started reading books, see, there is a difference between being hungry and fasting. See, the doctors are here, they will agree with me. Any cellular change in your body has to happen. It can only happen when your stomach is empty. If your stomach is full, the cellular changes is not possible. So if your body has to repair of any problems in the body, it will go, because you will start puking, your body will throw out, because it needs that empty space to do some cellular basic changes in the body. So the intellect which comes through education, that will also help you to get rid of the old belief systems. These dimensions you need to bring. That is the reason why he is saying this is important to, that is why without generating awareness, the right to children and free compulsory education will remain inadequate. And what is the time limit for this free education? Which age to which age? 6 to 14. Why not from 6 to 18, or maybe 10 to 18, or maybe 12 to 22? Why that bracketing of 6 to 14? Why? These are the formative years of learning. These are the formative years of learning. What you will be, what you are, is this time back only. Uske baad minor changes will come. that personality changes will have to come in that bracket of 16 to 14 only. उसके बाद once you are into your 15, 16, no matter how much your parents tell you to change, unless and until that conscious call does not come from within, you will never change. And the more and more they tell you to change, the more and more you will change, but in the opposite direction. Yes or no? It happens, right? It happened with all of us, including me. It happened because the formative years, that is when you are fighting with yourself and the surroundings. So in that particular time, if you are not given education, there is a high chance of falling prey to this. The dimension of they also have an equal standing in the society has to come at this age. उसके बाद नहीं आएगा. So try to understand the importance. You will see a complete change in a person who has been since childhood in co-education and who has been in either women's or boys college. There is a complete change in the personality of those peoples. Why? That complete education did not happen. Okay? So try to understand. Recently that IAS officer, lady made a faltu statement. When somebody said sanitary pads have to be provided in the schools, then she said it is better that we will start providing condoms also. Is it matured statement? No, it means somewhere the value system was not successful. It means she got this, but she did not got where. So try to understand, bring in those dimensions. That is the reason why you have to deconstruct. It means it is deeper than discuss. अरे yes or no? अभी समझ में आ रहा है? It is not जो तुम लिख रहे हो ना weekly, ठीक है? That is my laughing time. That is my laughing time, ठीक है? So try to understand and don't make me laugh too much, ठीक है? Try to make me laugh less. Now you understand how important. And imagine when the word critically adds, what will happen? Critically analyze, पूछता है. And you need to have not only understanding, you need to have the ability to deconstruct the entire. Deconstructing means in the absence of education, what effect it will have to the society. You are talking about India as a youth, no? Youthful country, demographic dividend. Use that dimension. If that demographic dividend is not positively attributable with certain qualities of which education, training and discipline, if it is missing, it will lead to what kind of a society? It is left to the imagination of anybody. Close with that conclusion. वो भी बोलेगा यार ये इतना साला समझदार आदमी, यही तो हमें चाहिए. This is what we are looking for. These are the kind of people we want in bureaucracy and not the kind of people who are making funny statements, being senior IAS officers. Try to understand that difference. Okay? So this is when you are analyze. One is breaking into fundamental parts. Second is deconstructing each and every part and trying to give the importance of children's education. So the first easiest way to write is comment. After that maybe discuss. Then this is analyze. Much more difficult to write because it is analysis based. It is based on debate, not or. Debate and evidence to look into the depth of the argument for or against. ठीक है? अच्छा इसमें for में क्या साइड लोगे in this statement? For एक और dimension. For a poor people, the cost of providing food to the child is taken care of. If it is both breakfast and lunch, मतलब एक दिन में 2 meals to a child are guaranteed. Yes or no? So that dimension should also come in your answer. So that is where both for and against. ठीक है? हाँ, examine you were noting. Examine कौन noting करो? 2 examines. 2 questions came on exam. When examine means simple. I think somewhere I wrote Byomkesh Bakshi. When I was a kid, एक serial आता था Byomkesh Bakshi, a detective. ठीक है? So I used to, as a child, I used to see this. Most of you will not even have heard this name. To investigate, to inspect, to assess the evidence on both sides. On both the sides. Try to bring in the Byomkesh Bakshi in you. See, he asked a question, how does illegal migration pose a threat to India's security? Simple statement. Then it says, examine the strategies to curb this, bringing out the factors which give impetus to illegal migration. So, if I break this question, 3 dimensions. One dimension is how it is a threat to internal security. This is one dimension. Sorry. The second dimension, examine the strategies to curb. The strategies to curb. This is the second dimension, investigation. Third dimension, factors which give impetus, means factors which are responsible for illegal migration. This is what they are asking. This is what they are asking. Can you do that? In examine, it means how it is a threat. How it is a threat? How it is a threat? Overpopulation, changing in the demographic profile, it will bring in restlessness in the old population. Yes or no? Your northeast insurgency, one of the causes for the northeast insurgency in the modern times is illegal migration only. Take care. Entire Assam Accord 1985 is a consequence. Your NRC, what you are seeing today, the National Register for Citizens, no, is a direct output of the fear of this changed demographic profile. Take care. What else? Yes, resource stress. But what is the question? Missing the essence. अब बोलो. Human rights violations. This is one. The second is they will become clusters of what you call anti-social activities. Very, very important. So all these dimensions have to come in your answer. Try to understand. Very important. From the internal security, strategies to curb. Physical infrastructure at the border. This is one. You will have a what you call with the neighboring country. You will have agreements signed कि तेरे पास से इधर आएगा अगले दिन भेज दूंगा. Right? If somebody comes from your side till here, I will throw him out the next day, the agreement. Right? Next. International conventions, very important. Fourth, governance point. Fourth, law and order problem, security dimension से governance point. See, you move from, say for example, Tirupati to Kadapa. While moving from Tirupati to Kadapa, when you enter Kadapa, do you go to any government office and say, in Kadapa, sir, I have come to Kadapa? You don't do that, right? But it is not so in Western countries. The moment you travel from one state to the other state, if it is in European continent, you will have to go and report you are coming to somebody there who will give you permission to stay there for certain period of time. So is it not effective management of the movement of people? Yes or no? Is it not the effective management of the movement of people that will also take care of illegal people overstaying in your area? Yes or no? Firstly, it will identify legal people and throw them out the same day. And second, it will only a particular period. If you happen to stay more than that, if somebody catches you, you are liable for punishment. So that is when you need to improve your governance structure of the point of regulation. Very, very important. Border management ka approach, the second approach to border management, regulation. Yes or no? So this is one dimension that you need to bring in the strategies to curb. You cannot shoot at them. Please don't write that. जैसे दिखा गोली मार देंगे. Please don't write that. ठीक है? We don't do that. We are a democratic country. All accepted. We are a democratic country. ठीक है? And हाँ, इसमें लिखो push factors. इसमें लिखो pull factors for migration. The push factors is religious persecution. Religious persecution there. Absence of economic avenues there. ठीक है? Disaster is one. War is one. Threat to life. The pull factor is most important pull factor. The secular fabric of your country. This is the biggest pull factor. The second pull factor is economics. The third third factor is economics. Everything. Economics, education, everything. Third factor is economics. It is, believe me, उनको मालूम है यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं होगा. There is no law, there is no migration law here. Look, you have identified 19 lakh people to be illegally staying in India, no? Did we tell them to go? No. That concept of Atiti Devo Bhava, you bring that dimension also. Who is stopping you? ठीक है? You have to bring. That's what what is he telling you to do? Both the sides, evidence on both the sides. Now, how analyze and examine are different to each other? बोलो. How analyze and examine are different to each other. How you will differently approach the answer. In analyzation, the canvas is very broad. The canvas is very broad. In examining, you are examining only that particular aspect in that. So analyze is more holistic, and this is more specific. Try to understand. That's the importance. Will the amended UAPA Act strengthen India's counter-terrorism apparatus? And is saying, चला और जिंदगी बर्बाद, critically examine. ठीक है? You forget the word critically as of now, just examine. If you know the amendment of UAPA 2019, UAPA Amendment Act 2019, one provision specifically will talk about that provision. The provision is that the state can declare an individual as a terrorist. Individual as a terrorist. Tomorrow morning, Amit Shah opened his YouTube. He saw my video. He thinks, यार ये सरदार को हटाना बहुत ज़रूरी है. ये बहुत बकवास कर रहा है. Declare Oberoi as terrorist. Now tell me, can government do so? The answer is yes. Why? Because the state can declare an individual as a terrorist. The continuation of the act is language. इसलिए बहुत ज़्यादा हल्ला हुआ था, बिकॉज बहुत ज़्यादा हल्ला हुआ था इसलिए वर्ड क्रिटिकली आया. ठीक है. जस्ट इमेजिन एन इंडिविजुअल कैन बी डिक्लेयर्ड एज ए टेररिस्ट whomsoever the government. This is the language of the act. This is not my language. It has never so happened in independent India that an act has been written in this language. See, legal jurisprudence, if you see, very difficult to comprehend, right? इतना straight forward. इससे अच्छा लिख लेता कि Modi and Amit Shah both combinedly can declare anybody terrorist. This was the statement in the newspaper. This is not my statement. कि इससे अच्छा, that's what Nelson Mandela's example also I gave in the classroom. When this article came, Hindu gave a half-page editorial on the right side, saying that in this 21st century, if you do this, what Nelson Mandela told, in the name of security, if you give up freedom, you will end up getting neither security nor freedom. So that is where this kind of things have happened in our country. That is the reason exactly why he gave an answer. See, I told you day one, the UPSC mains paper is the reflection of society, and he is only wanting your opinion on the reflection of society. There is a mirror in front of you, you are standing, you are your own reflection. So he has put a mirror in front of the society. In the mirror, यहाँ पे society है, reflection में UPSC का paper आएगा. Because he is asking exactly what is, and in interview, it is 100% reflection of society, not 99.9999 also. 100% reflection of society is interview. And if your response to your reflection of the society is not accurate or not to the, it is not based on evidences and debates or knowledge, then you are unfit to become a bureaucrat. Simple. So if you are having an opinion about UAPA, only one-sided opinion, then you are not fit to be a bureaucrat. So that is the reason why I told you mains is an interview in writing. That's the only difference. वहाँ पे physically जा रहे हो, यहाँ पे physically नहीं जा रहे हो to the examiner. Only your copy is going. That's the only difference. Is he saying everything? It is more specific. Discuss and analyze are broader dimensions. Examine is specific dimension. That is the biggest difference. So it means your scope of your discussion is narrowed. Your scope of discussion is narrowed. So that is where you will have to write the exam in the answer in that narrowed discussion frame. Okay? Because you have to be very, very specific. But in that specificness, thorough investigation. And if you have to do thorough investigation, it has to be supported by ठीक है. सो आज के लिए 4 काफ़ी है ना. बहुत हेवी हो रहा है मुझे भी और आपको भी. Shall we continue with the current affairs or shall we take some break? I can read his mind. Sir, current affairs की क्लास भी लोगे? हाँ? That's going on. ठीक, वो तो लूँगा. अच्छा, how much time break you want for your lunch? నువ్వు సైలెంట్గా ఉండరాలు కొట్టేస్తారు నీకు తెలియదు వాళ్ళ గురించి. How much time you need break for lunch? 1 hour. कितना खाएगा रे? Tell me. Some other day.
No. How much time will you take to complete? If you can complete, then we can give.
1.5 hours minimum. Topics are there, important topics, adultery and all are there. They are very, very important topics. ठीक है. एक minute. Let me see how much time I will take. Ambedkar tourism we can skip. It is understood. Power to remove the online content. आज mains question भी पूछा था ना. I think PCM batch I have asked this question. The operation, 2 operations name I gave. Operation Carbon and Operation Megh Chakra, right? Yeah, that's one. Election Commission to push for internal democracy. Centers push for Navik system. Eastern Command, power to remove online content. Budget to reset. Arey, new CDS has been appointed. Reset tax laws to decriminalize. All unmarried, married or unmarried women have right to safe. Here important topics are there. Doctors need not report identity of minors. Decriminalizing adultery. Collegium system. हाँ, कितना टाइम चाहिए? हाफ एन आवर ब्रेक. 2:30 will all assemble together. Or yes or no? Huh? Give your opinion. Comment. हाँ, please comment. बोलो, कुछ भी बोलो, चलेगा. अच्छा, how many of, चलो, I will make your job easier. I know what's going on in your head. How many of you want this class to be held on Monday, Tuesday or any other day? One, you are tired since morning writing exams and all. Okay. You and I, both bachelors, nobody to look forward to. Okay, how many of you want the class today itself? That today itself is higher. So we will have it today itself. 2:30 will assemble and I will try to finish it off quickly but without losing anything important. Okay? Chalo.